against Orlando Margin, Duradola, stack of undercards, and then you're going to need to enjoy the snacks, have your coffee, maybe have a nap in between if you can't stay up. You want to do this one. So I feel they could say we'll take an early lead. Don't want to do it down, but burgundy suit, black trim maybe. Shawn Porter a little bit more relaxed. Track suit. Both guys relaxed figures on fight with. You're given a chance to spend a little bit of time with Terence Crawford and at the Delano Hotel, sister hotel in Mandalay Bay. And we actually had to wait for him to finish their duty before we commence our interview with his states of relaxation. And when I put it to him that she caused him to claim that he was better, all of you player than him, stopped and gave me the stare that those of you that have been in front of Terence Crawford when he's far from the question had that deck stare. It's not one that you want to be on the end of. Shawn Porter, built out of Ohio, but he looks now in certain trains out of Las Vegas, in the quarter, his father made that decision earlier on in their career. He said if you are the president of the White House, you want to be a world-class fighter, you come and live and train out of Las Vegas. When we got here, he hated it, but it's created this persona and this fighting style that makes it incredibly difficult to beat. He's got a world-class engine, he's got brilliant boxing fundamentals, he's aggressive, he's a
Thank you very much, Bernardo. We are here with the former champ, the current champ, as someone on this stage recently said, ain't no friends until after the fight. Although, listening just to a little bit of the small talk here, I know the respect and the love does exist as we're going through some of the fashion statements. Shawn always brings the fashion statements. This guy apparently always brings the trophies and the hardware, not just what's on your lap, champ. But I'm going through your Instagram recently. I think the biggest prize of all in your family is sitting there and looking at Tyrese and Little T bringing home wrestling trophies that are about the size of you. So I know that inspires you greatly as a proud dad and everything that's going on your side. Visiting with both of you, I know you both feel very confident about how you come here and how you arrive here. We're going to talk about that. We're going to get into fight strategy. We'll bring up your two highly acclaimed trainers, and we will talk through everything Saturday night. Terence, you have said publicly that you need Shawn on your resume. I'm curious as to where your mindset is right now. We have seen your personality and being with you all over the place for weeks like this for championship fights. There's this metamorphosis that takes place where your personality tends to change as the week goes on, as we dwindle down closer to that opening bell. And you've often said you don't need to be the loudest. You just need to be the guy who can look straight at your opponent and look through his eyes and calmly say, I'm going to beat your ass. And they know it when you say it. When you look at Porter, have you now reached that point when you're ready to say that? And do you think that this man to my left would believe those words?
Yeah, but I believe it. The show will come Saturday.
Oh, I should respond to that.
Floor is yours.
I think it goes both ways. I don't really think there's much I can say to Bud that's gonna change the way you think about yourself and the outcome of this fight, and vice versa. No, he can't look at me and say, I'm about to beat your ass, and I'm gonna believe that. And he knows that, which is why he wouldn't even dare do it.
You told Mark Kriegel recently, Shawn, you said, I know what makes Terence uncomfortable. And you made the point that you were going to touch some nerves leading up to the fight, that Terence doesn't like when you talk about Terence. That he doesn't like to be doubted, that sometimes the smallest things can get under his skin. So whether it's gamesmanship, strategy, or just the nature of how you go about things, I will not stand in your way, whatever works for you as to what you want to say to Terence.
You know what? Because when I said that, and I'm not gonna pull back on it, but like Terence, you know better than I do. I feel like you've matured. I feel like people see your character and your personality more now than they've ever seen. But I feel like I'm still correct in saying if the wrong tweet or the wrong Instagram post goes up, you can get upset.
Maybe not.
Well, hey, listen. There's people that you can get to and there's people you can't get to. I'm one of those people you can't get to. And I got a feeling that you can get to him quicker on the microphone than you can in the ring. I think in the ring, he is solid. He is a rock. But there may be something that might be posted or said here today that might affect him, and that might have an effect on the fight. We shall see. But I like how y'all going in the archives on everything that has been said.
Let's take a look at how we've arrived to this week. Since winning his first world title in 2013, others may have resumes equal or superior to Porter's, but few, if any, have garnered more respect.
I see the sprint and Porter step.
It's the way he fights and who he's always willing to fight.
See you soon, huh?
He's battled a prime Kell Brook and Keith Thurman, wins over Melanacci, Adrian Broner.
Gets that signature victory.
And then in 2018, WBC belt-conquering victory over Danny Garcia. His biggest challenge was 2 years ago. In September 2019, he pushed Errol Spence Jr. to the brink of defeat. And even with a split decision loss, Porter's lofty standing was further elevated. On the other side, Terence Crawford has constantly scaled the mountain towards greatness. His championship run started a year after Porter's and 2 weight classes lower. In 2014, Crawford was named Fighter of the Year as a lightweight champion.
Big shot by Crawford.
By August of 17, he was the undisputed at junior welterweight. He's always aced the eye test with undeniable talent.
One of the best closers in the game.
He's now 4 welterweight title defenses deep.
And
8 straight wins by knockout. Reaching #1 pound for pound at one point.
that man is the best in the world.
But this big fight against this big name is much needed. It's been 53 weeks since Crawford's last ring won, a destruction of former champion Kell Brook.
This is the biggest fight of my life, and you gotta win this one.
Only person that can do Terence Crawford is Terence Crawford. We're gonna do what we gotta do. That's for sure.
Tough to deny the level of accomplishment, the level of talent that I'm sitting between here when you watch that clip there. Terence, you have repeated that time and again when they ask you to size up this fight, that you feel like you're the far better boxer than Shawn. You feel like you're the better puncher than Shawn. You've openly stated that you feel like you have the higher boxing IQ and ring generalship than Shawn. Tell me something, though, when you watch that, when you've scouted him, that you do look at him and you say, I really respect that. He does that really well.
Well, me personally, I respect everything that Shawn does. Like I said, Shawn is athletic. He can box. He can bang. He can, move around in the ring. He can cut corners and take angles. So I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't respect anything that he do. I just think I do a lot of things better than Shawn.
Fair assessment from the champ. We will get the assessment from the trainers. Go ahead, Shawn. You with a mic in your hand, I'd love, so go for it.
Because this is why this fight is so great for the world of boxing and for TV. I would say the exact same thing he said, and I believe it.
And everybody in this room would say amen because we all believe it when it comes to the two of you, and that's why everybody's so excited for Saturday night. When we come back, both trainers are going to join in the conversation with the fighters. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Maybe that's a mistake, maybe it's not. hopes in the right direction. Are you going to be shouting? He said, you don't piss the whole bar. And he lifted to the stage there straight away and suggests that he is ready to fight. But you can see that both trainers have joined their fight on the stage. Shawn Porter, Shawn, Bomac, long time training Terence Crawford. Those of you that have got blood, sweat and tears, you've seen some of the brilliant homemade footage in their amateur days. The great insights. There's some really interesting footage of Terence Crawford boxing Saddam Ali. Crawford was on his way towards the 2008 games and he didn't go. So those of you, I don't want to give away the watch it because got a very different way though, he said I have to box this way. Again, very, very interesting, so I encourage everybody to watch those two episodes. They are available on our YouTube channel wherever you're listening to this video. So just search on our video to find those two episodes.
You guys on wireless camera ops?
Sharing a straight kept a tremendous relationship. Very different to that of Ward's family. Done his way, and it's out there for everyone to see the respect that he commands from Shawn. He wants high standards and he gets them. And that's probably what's made him such a successful thing.
What's how long it was?
First in this commercial break, stay with us.
Contacted Terence 2 years ago. He didn't want to fight Shawn. He was contacted a year ago. Told Shawn, well, I got a couple other things going on. If things don't work out, I'll give you a call. He never gave us a call. I want this fight.
It's time to fight. You'll fight. Just ask the last 7 opponents and knocked out every last one.
It's clear. He doesn't want.
Terence is the best 147-pound fighter in the division.
Bomac has been an announcer for me.
Brian Bomac McIntyre, Kenny Porter, the trainers for Bud Crawford, and Shawn Porter. Gentlemen, welcome to the conversation. Appreciate your time. I don't know if there are any two trainers who are more embedded into the lives of their fighters than the two of you, and for how long that has been, these close relationships. But everyone changes. Everyone develops. Everyone grows throughout their lives, throughout their careers. Curious, I'll start with you, Bomac. What have you learned about your fighter through this training camp as to where he is now and the changes that he's made?
When the conversation first came up about Porter and it got real serious, I seen a different Terence Crawford.
How so?
The man told us, the coaches, this is going to be one of the hardest camps ever. And it was like that from the day one till the last day we broke camp from Colorado Springs. It's been focus. It's tunnel vision. It's been nothing but let's go get Shawn.
At a higher level of intensity than you've ever seen.
Way, way higher.
Kenny, you and your son have one of the greatest relationships that we've seen in recent pro sports. I'm curious, and I thought you guys were fantastic with the all-access stuff that we all enjoyed with blood, sweat, and tears to see, and I know we were pressing him on certain things. How would you respond to that as the changes and where you've seen growth and development that's different from the fighter previous?
You mean in camp or you mean
so in preparation for this fight?
In preparation for this fight, I wouldn't say he did anything different. He approached it the same. A lot of what we've done and what we do is predicated on a foundation. So you got to go through all of those same steps to get to this week right here. So there wasn't a lot of changes. There wasn't a lot of different things that went on. I mean, if someone's telling me they're more intense this camp than they've ever been before, I'm probably looking at them saying, why? You're a professional. You've been doing this for a long time. You should always be serious about what you do, and there should never be any letdown. So, what was it? before? Was it a letdown before, and now you have to bring it up to another level? But for us, it's pretty much been the same. We worked, and we peak up to this week, and then here we are.
Champ, what's the answer to why? Why did you feel like you were more
it's like this. If you got to push from round 1 to round 12, it's going to be met like that. I promise you that. So if when I say we took it to the next level, and then I actually take it to the next level in the fight, we ain't gonna have no problem about doing it. It's real simple.
Terence?
I'm ready for Saturday.
Shawn, in some of the all-access footage we saw, your father was really hammering home the need to concentrate on the back-to-basic fundamentals of snapping out the jab, keeping your hands up, of getting back defensively. For both of you, why that emphasis for this fighter here at this stage of his career?
He's a great fighter, and I watch my fighter more than I watch any other, so I haven't studied Terence. I know he's a great fighter because I've known him for years, but I haven't studied. I don't sit there and just watch tape of Terence from round 1 to the knockout, whoever he's fighting. I don't do that. That's not my way. My thing is to study him and to make sure that he's doing the things that he's supposed to do. So when I don't see those things, I have to try to implement that in to sharpen that up. And that's what you do in a camp. You try to get sharp.
Shawn came out publicly a few times in some of the interviews and said that Terence hasn't been in the ring with anybody who has pushed him past the limits, and he intends to be the guy that does that. Obviously, we all know Shawn's style. We know rugged, aggressive, yet skilled in how he goes about business. Bud's the kind of guy that always dictates terms, that always has the fight on his terms. Is this one of those classic something's got to give fights? How do you see things playing out here?
Well, we know Shawn gonna come, and we know he's gonna be rugged and try to punch you in your mouth, try to punch you back, and we know that. That's how he been ever since I've been knowing him. And his dad team has done a great job with that. But one thing they've never done is face a fighter like Terence Crawford. You know, he's different, and we all know that. The whole world knows Terence Crawford's different. That's why he's on the pound-for-pound list for the last 5 years. He can do you this way, he can do you that way. He can hit you in the mouth this way, he can slide on that way. That's the difference between Terence and Shawn.
Kenny, how do you view Terence? If you were to get the man on the street a scouting report on Terence Crawford, what would be your answer?
As I said, he's a great fighter. But, you know, as his coach said, he's different. Everyone in here has a different opinion. Somebody likes my suit, somebody doesn't. Somebody likes Terence clothes, somebody doesn't. Somebody thinks this guy won that round, somebody thought that guy won that round. The fight on Saturday night is determined by everyone's opinion. It's not like basketball, we don't get to shoot a three-pointer, it goes up, we see the score. It's not like football, we don't get to kick the field goal, we see the score. After every round is someone's opinion around that ring. Then there's the ringside people, they give their opinion. Then there's the nosebleed seats, they give their opinion. There's the people back home watching pay-per-view, but at the same time on Instagram, trying to give their opinion. Boxing is not a science, it's an opinion. It's our job on Saturday night to make sure that the opinion swings our way.
Both guys 34 years old, both guys over a year plus layoff. How did you approach things with the layoff?
Well, we stay in the gym. You know, he's always active, not just only with boxing and basketball, wrestling, you know, fishing, playing around with Wayne, you know, just being around the gym, helping the kids, you know, the wrestling side, the boxing side. So he stayed active all the time. You know, constantly running, you know, his model is at least 3 to 4 times a week in the gym if he ain't got nothing coming up.
Old man Kenny, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. We'll take a short break. We'll be back with more from here in Vegas. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
quite interesting that Shawn Porter's father said, I don't study techniques, I study mindfulness. Although it is really the right house and natural something, concentrate on what the other has to do. Again, goes back to what we've seen in the material. Several there's a hell of a lot of perspective. Something more in there. Pick up press
Everyone's cute. One step at a time, and politics as usual.
Saturday night, Terence Crawford, showdown.
Undercard press conference to see it tomorrow. Scheme about how the undercard eyes club logo also feature on our coverage as well. Just two things from what we need to it is quiet here in the hotel. This one is they are their fans being granted access to been in the workouts. Take on the state team bars around this fight. Hopefully that's coming across through our coverage.
two guys really just fight just outside of them. Easy there.
Thank you, Mark. Next generation riding the wave here in the wake of these two greats of this generation as our final moments with our champ, Terence Crawford, and Showtime Shawn Porter, the two-time welterweight world champion. What's the approach to the next 72 hours, Shawn? Come in for a nice landing here. Give us a sense of where you're at.
Relaxing. I got drinking water and just buying my time, man. I am a Showtime fighter, and I cannot wait for Showtime on ESPN Plus app. And that's what I'm looking forward to. Simple as that. I'm a really even kill kind of guy. I like things to be easy, and fight week is always easy for me.
Nothing's ever easy about being opposite this man, though. When those eyes change and he goes from Terence to Bud, and the danger warning is there. Have you thought about what this means, Terence? All of us have been with you throughout the whole ride, through these divisions, right through undisputed and pound for pound elite, and now the guy who you say, this is the one that I want to put to end any talk about who's the best welterweight. You're reflecting a little bit on what this accomplishment could be on Saturday night?
Not yet. It ain't hit me yet. But it's gonna hit me the closer it gets. Right now I'm just chilling. Playing Call of Duty in the room by myself all day. So I shake out a little bit, but other than that, I've been in the room all day isolated.
Your Friday face-offs typically aren't chill. Your post-weigh-in face-offs aren't chill. Are we in store for one this week? Do you flip that switch?
It's already flipped.
It's already flipped.
Once we signed that contract, the switch turned on. So we up now and we here now, and I can't wait till Saturday to go out there, have fun, display my talent, and look good doing it.
We all can't wait, and we're all ready. The man! Look at this! We all can't wait. We're very thankful for the two of you for making this fight, putting on this show. It comes to you Saturday night, ESPN Plus pay-per-view, and right now is Max on Boxing. Max Kellerman, take it away. Thanks, guys. That's it. Sorry that wasn't going in the audience, everybody.
Face it.
No, that's a weigh-in thing.
You ever seen Stone Cold Steve Austin? I'm happy for that sake. Are you enjoying it?
Oh, for sure.
Now, one thing about the fight here, I know it's a big deal. There's the aspect of your contract coming up. Does that impact your mind at all about what's next? Not your business, not your fighting, your business, because your contract with Top Rank is coming up.
My main focus is Shawn Porter, all that we can talk about after the fight.
No thoughts about that at this point? Are you happy with the job that Top Rank has done on this event? You're getting the fight though?
Am I happy about the event?
That Top Rank was able to finally get this fight for you guys.
I put more to the WBO because they the one that mandated the fight.
But no conversations about a new contract just yet?
Huh?
No conversations yet about a new contract?
Not yet.
Okay, fair enough.
Hey, Buzz.
Shawn Porter has never been stopped in his career. He's never been dominated. He's been dropped in his career. He was dropped by Errol Spence. He was dropped by Adrian Broner. He was hurt bad by Keith Thurman. In the inside with hooks. That seems to be your specialty. You're ambidextrous. You have power in both hands. Is that something you study?
No, not at all. I believe he got hit at the right moment, getting a little careless. You know what I mean? But like I said, I'm a different type of animal in the ring. You know what I mean? I'm gonna see my openings, and I'm gonna take my shot when the time is right.
Now when it comes to
back foot, how is that going to take into effect? You're still going to be able to sit on your clutches, catch him with the uppercuts like you like to throw, because you know he's coming forward. He's going to try to stay in your chest, smother you.
He may not. He may try to box me like he did with Ugas. Shawn brings to the table come Saturday.
What goes to the decision as far as you fighting out and orthodox? Something that you just feel in the ring?
I don't know. Sometimes I just do his cuz. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's just
that BMF on his watch.
Hey, Terence, why do you feel Porter's going to be your toughest fight?
I never said that.
When you mentioned that for you put words in your mouth?
I never.
Do you think it's going to be?
I said each and every fight that I've fought in the past was supposed to be my toughest fight, so I can't say Porter is going to be my toughest fight when I haven't even been in the ring with him.
What has been your toughest fight so far in your career?
I would say it's a mixture of Gamble and Mean Machine.
And what about those that made it different than all the other matches?
I don't know. I believe I made the Mean Machine fight harder than it could have been. You know, and Gamble, you know, I think I was still a little green. You know, and he was, you know, seasoned.
A little excited by being at home for the first time?
No, I wouldn't even say excited. I would just say, you know, I mean, he was real skillful. You know, I mean, he did a lot of things right, and I started off doing a lot of things wrong. I picked up on that.
And then what was it about the Kavalauskas?
Not just me, you know what I mean? Not being patient, just fighting his fight.
Do you think it was a knockdown?
No, I don't.
Terence, I have two questions. First thing is you were sparring Davis, and he fought David Benavidez, and kind of wanted to talk about your overall thoughts about that fight since he was a sparring partner.
Talk about my fight.
The fact that you were sparring with someone so big and he was doing good performance with David, what brought you, like, what made you bring someone so big into your sparring? You know, someone that's a 160-pound, 168-pounder.
So we just brought him for the style. You know what I mean? Him and Shawn, you know, got a similar style. You know, you're not going to get somebody identical to the same style as Shawn Porter, but we take and use things that we can see from different opponents and different sparring partners and put it all into one.
And, you know, I know, so staying on the same thing about your fight, Shawn Porter brought in Gervonta Davis. Does that even matter, or your opinion, for a sparring partner?
Two different styles. Like, he's short arms, I'm tall, long arms, so that don't make sense.
Hey, Bud, what you think about Jose Benavidez saying that he's been in the ring with you, he sparred Shawn, and Shawn don't have nothing for you? What you think of that?
I ain't got nothing to say about it, you know what I mean? He must know something, you know? Like I said, you know, a lot of people was criticizing me about fighting Benavidez and this and that and that and this. And Shawn, I think Shawn spoke about me fighting Benavidez. And, you know, I said we're not going to say about the sparring match between Benavidez and Shawn because it's, you know, we seen what that was about.
All right, guys, you gotta take him up to match.
Should you get past this fight, you ever fight Boots?
Yo, who y'all got coming out of the DMV area, man?
Keyshawn Hayes.
My shit in there too. Right here.
Question.
Hey, what was it? I was going to ask you. I'm Dan Rachel, by the way. I'm writing this for the ring. We were on the bus together after Canelo and Saunders. I think.
Exactly.
That was that night when you fought in the Canelo-Saunders fight. You had known that you were going to be on the Olympic team, but hadn't been announced yet. Is that the deal?
In Dallas.
Yeah.
Yes, I was just keeping it a secret, just like this top rank thing.
Right.
And it was actually crazy because I was flying out to Dallas that day, and they called me saying, "To my professional fight, thinking about the Olympics." So,
so now that you're You got
of course,
the silver medal.
training on the mountain. I think we were at 9,200 feet for this one, and everything in between. The sparring, of course. Did some rounds with Tank Davis. Did some rounds with Andre DeWerrell. And those are the two biggest names that y'all would know. But we got it all in, man. Everything we need to do.
What do you think sparring with Gervonta Davis did for your preparation?
You know what? I think getting him on the back end of the sparring was more so to make sure the eyes and the focus and everything's there. He is one of the sharpest boxers I've ever been in the ring with, and I'm sure it won't change. It won't change much after being in the ring with Terence. I would imagine that Terence will be the sharpest, but that boy Tank is sharp.
Is it someone you want to face on the lunch?
Who? No.
Now, Shawn, you were talking about like how much you were looking forward to this particular fight over the past year and a half. Kind of like go a little bit more into that, like how you're excited about this particular bout going up against Terence Crawford.
When he fought Jose Benavidez, before fighting Jose, I knew he was going to move to 147, and even knowing he was going to come to 47, I was like, I'll never fight him. When I saw his fight with Jose Benavidez, he was like, Jose's here, and he was like right here. It was like there was just nothing Jose could do. He was so dominant. I sat back after that fight. I was like, I might have to get in the ring with this dude, man. He's great. And I think that just over the course of time, hearing people talk and hearing people say that they wanted to see that fight, after the fight with Terence or with Errol Spence Jr. was when I was like hearing people say, what would happen? Terence Crawford and Shawn Porter. I was like, I think I got to do it. I think we got to do it, and here we are.
I think Benavidez seemed.
Yeah. There's a lot of film to look at, but none of those guys are me. You know what I mean? I understood exactly what they're saying. We turned it up for Shawn Porter. As quiet as it's kept, every camp, I don't know how it happens, but every camp ends up being just a little bit better than the previous camp. It just is what it is. But when you take a look at the opponents I've been in the ring with, every camp's supposed to be a little bit better than the last. You know what I mean? So I understand fully what they were talking about. I feel like, my dad might have been taking a shot. It is what it is. But I will say that this was the best camp that we've had. But then on the other side of that is the fact that Terence Crawford hasn't been in the ring with anyone like me. But he toned it all the way up for me. So you get in the best is getting in the ring with the best. There's no doubt about that.
Shawn, you mentioned
a different result than you and Errol Spence. Why would it
styles make fights. You know what I mean? It kind of is what it is. My dad is right. Boxing's opinionated, and depending on who trained that judge, and who trained that judge, those three judges may be seeing something completely different than 5 out of 10 other people. It just kind of is what it is. So, how will it be different? We got to win those judges, and then we got to land that punch.
Shawn, you mentioned, throwing off the timing is key. Is that real key to not letting this counter punch go in? Is that how you beat a counter punch?
That too. Yeah. I think, as a kid, you kind of learn things, and as you grow in time and you learn more, it's like some things that you learned as a kid, not that they don't matter anymore, but you find out other ways to defeat things. So I'll give you a prime example. As a kid, my dad said how you beat a counterpuncher is with combinations. A counterpuncher's weight, it can counter 1 punch or 2 punches, but they can't counter 3, 4, 5 punches. And then as you get older, you learn I don't have to just throw in combination in order for this guy not to counterpunch me. I can feint him or force him to be first, and that takes away his counterpunch. So that just kind of give you a little bit more in-depth into.
So we might be surprised at some of the things,
I think y'all be surprised about the whole night. No, he's locked in. Exactly where I thought he would be. He said a couple of times, I'm just ready for the fight. I promoted the hell out of this thing, and whatever slack he had, I picked all that up. And man, I had a treat for y'all today. We weren't able to get it in. I had a treat for y'all today.
What was the treat, Shawn?
Yeah.
That seemed to be Terence Crawford's specialty, the hooks on the inside. What have you done to prevent that from happening again?
We definitely did the best we could to train to correct the error that I made in that fight, in that moment. But yeah, I think that collectively it's just about not getting caught up in moments. You know?
And what about the fact, Shawn, that he's a
more for a left-hander. Yeah, more for a left-hander.
And Shawn, lastly, man, just mean it. Okay.
When did you start to see the blueprint to the boxing business? And I see Keyshawn and Robert here. What would you say to young fighters about minding the boxing business as a fighter?
I grew into this, man. And these fighters, these young fighters that are coming up, they're going to have to grow up fast. They got social media now. They have a presence now that they didn't have when I was like growing into the sport. When I was 20, 21, we didn't have everything the way that it is now. And so, yeah, I will encourage those guys to learn the business, learn what's going on, learn the behind the scenes, understand your contracts. Everything that I didn't care about, my dad was pushing it on me even though I didn't care about it. And then guess what? Once I had to call on it, I knew what I was doing and I knew what I was talking about. So, yeah, I will definitely press upon those guys to start learning it all. Know your place as a fighter, but also know that your place as a fighter is to know the business as well.
Shawn, and lastly, legacy as a fighter, where you've been like,
hey, where's Dig?
Every single belt here in the welterweight division. Kind of go into your legacy and what you want to leave as a fighter here at welterweight.
I think the first side of that legacy is done. You can say that Shawn Porter's fought everybody. The other side of the legacy is you have to be able to say, I need y'all to say. Y'all have to be able to say, Shawn Porter was in the ring with the best and he beat some of the best. This is the other best, and I have to beat this dude. So when I say my legacy depends on that, I keep saying, like, I've been in a couple of Super Bowls. I've won some and I've lost some. But I don't want to be this to be a Dan Marino effect when you are talking about how good and how great he was. But you always talk about how good and great Dan Marino was, but he never won a Super Bowl. I can't have y'all saying that about me. Can't have y'all saying, oh, he was in the ring with the best. But F that butt.
That confidence or
Shawn, lastly,
confidence or pressure?
I was confidence.
Shawn,
no pressure.
Lastly, man, they make a lot about Terence.
Go ahead. Yeah, I got you.
They make a lot about tough, meanness when it comes to Crawford. That's an edge he has over his opponents in the ring. Is that true in this fight? He's a meaner guy. That gives him something.
It comes in a different package in this fight, and the package that I have works for me. The package that he has works for him. It's up to me to make my package work for me against him, and that's what I intend to do. I love to see him do it, man. He's not carrying this sport, but this sport, he's a big part of this sport. And no matter where he goes, no matter what he does, everybody's gonna be tuned in. So the more he can challenge himself and get everybody to rock with him, I dig everything this man has done. And I dig what he did against Caleb Plant. Solid, man. Solid.
Guys, we gotta wrap up.
I hate it. Wish my boy would get back in here. I actually thought it was gonna be him and I. And I'm glad this one jumped off instead. This was the one I wanted. This one more than I wanted a rematch with Keith. Last one.
Are you confident in yourself just in the ring?
Yeah, man. Here's why I'm confident. It's always like my opposition always, I rise to that occasion. And understanding everything that he does in the ring and the way he makes adjustments and things like that, it's going to force me to just make the adjustments and do the necessary things to get the job done.
Thanks,
yeah.
Shawn.
Y'all got it. Thank y'all.
Shawn. Thanks, Kenny.
Do you feel like going to the top rank that you're going to get the more development?
Yeah. What's up, Blue?
I feel like when it comes to like our competition, if we're ready to take that step forward, and then all we have to do is come to the promotion and ask them, and they will let us. Because we're not here to be spoon-fed. We're here to jump right into that action.
And because of politics and boxing, it depends sometimes on who you guys sign with. With the talent pool that you're surrounded with, do you guys think that not only the fact that you'll lead the sport, but have the right competition on your side of the street, later on, so you guys, pretty much control who fights who, or how the boxing
Well, right now we coming in the game with leverage. We coming in the game. They asking us how many rounds we want to go. They asking us how fast we want to go. They asking us everything to make us feel comfortable, which tells me like, okay, the ball is in our park. So even when we get there, it's nothing shouldn't be different.
And then lastly, just to kind of follow up, seeing the fact that you asked for, Lomachenko and Shakur, obviously, and you guys are brothers in that sense.
Yeah.
Who do you think will probably get it first? Do you think Shakur will be able to get it before you?
Right now, we could say Shakur because he already on that level, and I still got some developing to do. But shit, whether he get him first or I get him second, it don't matter. I just want to fight him. You know what I'm saying? And if Shakur get him first, then my goal is to outdo Shakur, and vice versa. You feel what I'm saying? So that's how we operate with that one. It don't really matter who goes first, but if he goes first, I'm gonna outdo him. If I go first, he gonna try to outdo me.
And then after that's your brother, because this is one of those things we can put in the archive. They might go, I don't know who you are, you're asking for these fighters, and later on when you get the fight, and you can go back and say, I told you, that's what I want. Who's in your eyes in the future? Not saying you're necessarily calling out, or some people will call it clout chasing, but just because you want to aim for the best, who's in your eyes, in your radar?
I want to fight everybody. I don't really, like you said, I ain't really trying to call nobody out. But, I guess like they say Tiafimo, we fought in the amateurs, we got history, so I guess that'll be a perfect fight, a perfect build-up, and then it just makes sense.
How did that fight in the amateurs go? Just curious, because I know amateur style and pro style is totally different.
Yeah, I really don't remember. This was like Silva, so we like real kids.
Oh, okay, like little like the
real
gloves
kids.
is
So
bigger
it's
than you guys? Okay.
Yeah, it didn't even mean, I ain't gonna say it ain't mean nothing, but it don't mean nothing now. So
it means something because we know, like all these Devin Haney, all these fighters, we seen them when they was kids.
Yeah.
And we know the true fighters that y'all think is so tough. Understand what I'm saying? So they can't come at us that way. You know what I'm saying? They know how we are from kids all the way up to now. Shit don't change. You feel what I'm saying? So when we do get on that level, they should come correct.
So they know it ain't no intimidation. They can't try to do none of that. It's just gonna be boxing.
It's not we clout chasing.
No, of course not. So, you guys are collegiate fighters, silver medalists, come from a incredible amateur background. So
So these guys know us. They see us then. They gonna see us now and in the future. They know what time it is.
And then lastly, for the fans and social media over at FightHype, where you guys want to send all your fans and stuff.
Follow me on Instagram, Kelvin Davis 2_, and follow me on Twitter, Kelvin Davis 1_.
Instagram, Business Keyshawn, Twitter, Keyshawn Davis 8, my YouTube channel, my name, Keyshawn Davis. For the fans, for our supporters, DB3 supporters, shoot. December 11th, man, me and Kelvin back, Lomachenko. It's gonna be way better than that DAZN card, you know what I'm saying? No disrespect to DAZN, shout out to DAZN. But we coming back, we coming back better. That's all I gotta say.
Awesome, appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Hey, Davis Bros. You think, because he's fought with Fury in the top range, and you think that's some work you'll be able to get as well?
I'm hoping so much. I want to spar with all the big guys. I want to spar with all the guys and later on fight them. I really want to show the world what I have to offer because I think I have a lot.
And he seems open to being a teacher too at times, not just working with young guys and keeping them down, but bringing them up.
I really appreciate Tyson Fury. After the World Championships, Tyson Fury hit me up and said he really liked my style. He really liked everything I did. He watched me fight a couple of times, and that was amazing. He's a stand-up guy. He's an amazing guy, and I just really appreciate everything he's done for me and for boxing in general.
He's becoming an adopted American. He calls you like you were on the British team.
Yeah. No, he's a cool dude.
Yeah. And I'm interested to see what Jared says when I ask him about you. But since I'm talking to you, what makes Jared Anderson an elite guy or potentially an elite guy?
I think Jared Anderson has made himself an elite guy. Honestly, he is. His speed, his power. He got so much more size in the past years too. This guy's a force to be reckoned with. I think Jared is an amazing fighter, and not only his physicalness but his mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Jared really knows what he's doing, and every time I watch him, I study him. I think he gets better and better every fight, and he's a teammate. He's a competitor, but he's one heck of a fighter, man.
Now, yourself, like Ruiz when he won the title.
Camp was good, sparring was good.
You know what? If there was one thing about the camp that I wasn't
thrilled, happy about it, and I keep that real. People ask the same question all the time. They say, how was the camp? And then you get the same answer. Camp was great. Everybody say that, right? Nah. The one thing was we didn't get the sparring that I really wanted. We got sparring, no doubt. But the guy we're fighting, we needed more.
Is that because they wasn't available, the people that you wanted?
I got some things. Okay, put it this way. I wanted some more high-level guys who could switch. I only had one really good one, and he was good at it, but he was lighter in weight. So he's only like 145 pounds, But he was really good at it. He's actually my fighter, but he's really good at it, right? But he's only 145 pounds. Then plus, Shawn don't want to hit our guy that hard, We got some work with Andre Durrell. We got some work with Caleb Plant. We probably got a dozen rounds with Caleb Plant. We got a good 6 out of Andre Durrell. We got some work with Dennis Douglas. We got work with Tank.
Okay.
But it wasn't like we got to work with Andre Durrell for a whole entire week or 2 weeks. Or we got to work with Tank for 2 weeks or anything. Or we got to work with Dennis Ring. It was like guys were switching in and out. Now, the only thing I can say in defense of that, not necessarily defense, but on the other side of that is Terence probably had the same problem. You can't find a Shawn Porter. So we couldn't find a Terence Crawford. If there's any one thing that I looked at in the camp that stands out, we couldn't find a Terence Crawford to spar with, but he couldn't find a Shawn Porter.
What were you looking for in those extra sparring partners if you could have got it? Was it speed? Was it power? What were you looking for out of those spots?
In my guy, I had everything except he wasn't as big and strong as me. My guy was able to switch. He switched sides seamlessly. And he goes from righty to southpaw, he would do the southpaw, and he gave us really good work. But I needed bigger guys. Shawn needed bigger guys. He's a strong guy, and he just keep coming at guys. So he was wearing my guy down. I switch other guys out and things like that, and it's no knock against anybody. Everybody gave what they could give, but again, Terence probably should have had the same problem. He didn't find a Shawn Porter.
When you have a fighter like Terence that'll switch styles, how does that impact the Porter or any other fighter that you're training to go on the offense when they have this opponent over here switching styles? How does that impact you guys?
I'm not going to say it impacts us in a negative way if that's where you... No, I'm just saying if that's where you... If a guy has the ability, and Terence does, to switch and be a southpaw, switch and be a right-handed, and he does it well on both sides, he's a great fighter. That makes him great. Not a lot of people can do that, right? But the problem that they may incur is if you come in contact with someone who's been trained since they were this big, that when you switch, they have a certain thing they've been doing all of these years. Whereas everybody else you've been fighting are looking at your switch and trying to figure out, okay, what's he going to do now? But I got one guy that I've been working on this with since he's this big, right? He switched. You know what you're supposed to do right here, right?
So you already have a circle out.
So we expect the muscle memory just to kick in for something that he's been trained to do all of his life.
Teddy, do you think has Shawn's role as an analyst? Do you think that's helped him at all in the ring with the
He says it has. He says it has. I think it became a problem for us. I think it became a problem, not that he was away too much or anything like that. It's great. It never became a problem like that. But I think it became a problem for us. Sometimes when we're doing something in the gym, he wants to tell me, see, what I saw right here in this particular situation, and I need to be moving this way. And I said, okay, listen, are you analyzing or are you going to box today? Well, I'm just saying that, we're a team, so from my perspective of right here, and I'm like, this dude being an analyst right now, right? I said, I'll tell you what, here's what I want you to do. Since that's what you're going to do, Shawn, I said, here's what I want you to do. Tomorrow when we come, I'm going to let you take over this workout session today, but tomorrow when we come back, I'm going to need you to follow up on the things we did today tomorrow and build off of them, and then the next day, and build off of those into the next day, and then build off of those into next week. I ain't gonna be able to do all that. I said, okay, then let me go ahead and be this coach right now. Because that's what people don't understand in that situation. See, the things that I got you doing on Monday, I have to still continue to do those, build on that foundation on Tuesday, right? And then I have to continue to build on that on Wednesday, right? and then Thursday, right? And then, since Shawn is in excellent shape, he doesn't work out on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. You're off that weekend. When we come back Monday, I got to start all over again because some of those things may have been forgotten, right? How many boxers going to want to do that? They're not going to want to do that. Right. No. So you don't want to take that role on as to be the coach, right? Right? You know, you don't want to be that guy. Right, and you can't. You just can't be that guy that says, oh, my wait is over, but I'm going to lie to myself and say, no, you can't lie to yourself, dude. I need to see your weight. You could, right? I need to see it. The coach needs to see it, right? I need to know how much you're drinking. I need to know how much you're eating. Are you eating on time? Are you resting? Boxers can't do that. Right. How much rest did you get last night?
They have to be monitored.
What you need someone to oversee those things.
Absolutely. Did you hear anything in Bud's voice from the press conference? Any psychological edge? Because I thought I did. His tone. As a coach, being around
actually,
fighters.
when you started with the question, I was just going to ask you what you picked up out of it. I was going to ask you, so go ahead and tell me what you got.
No, because maybe it could have been Shawn, since he's been training as a commentator. His voice sounds so strong and for sure.
Oh, okay.
And then Buzz was very weak and timid.
I don't think weak and timid. Well, man, I squared up with him. You heard about that, right?
Yeah, I heard about
I mean, like, we was closer than me and you.
But the psychological...
And it was dark.
Right.
Wasn't nobody else there.
But the psychological warfare...
That dude's a killer, man.
Right, I understand.
No, flat out. Like, he did not back down. He brought up over his fist. He looked at me, and he's still here like this.
That's what we want. That's what we want against Shawn.
That's what we want.
Because we can force him into mistakes with a double jab and a right hand down the pipe.
Right hand. You heard it.
And then once he tried to switch and throw some, we want to throw him to him.
Nice. Just so y'all know,
we want him to.
We have a history. He's given me tips before. I respect what he's saying. I'm not playing with him. I respect what he's saying. So I take all of that into account. My mother used to say, you can learn something from a baby if you listen. So I take all the information.
Amen. How is your relationship? Are you the greatest father-son team in history?
I never thought about that. I'm going to say right now we are the greatest father-son in history. Not because of boxing, because of this right here. However, ESPN spent it and showed me coming at Shawn and you got to do what I say and right? There was probably a whole bunch of other things leading up to that before I got to that point, but they're only going to clip what they want to clip, right? But it doesn't matter because here's the most... When you said the greatest father and son, here's the greatest thing about it, dude. The greatest thing about it is my son will live with me till he was 27 years old. When he moved out and bought his first house, It is 0.8 miles away from my house. I'm like, dude, why you buy a house so close to me? I thought it'd be cool to live close to you, right? Right? So a little more than a year ago, he bought another house. He sends me a text message, said, come to this address. I'm like, this address, why, dude? He's like, I bought a house. Why don't you come see it? I walk out my door, and I look at the GPS, and the house is right across the street from me. Dude, why you buy a house across the street from me? Because I thought it'd be cool to live next to my dad. So now I can, out of my bedroom window, look at my son's house, or out of my kitchen, have coffee, and look at my son right out of my kitchen window. My little G-man, that's what I call my grandsons. My little G-man get to ride their motorized vehicles around the house, or my dog walks to Shawn's house every day when I walk him. He drives me because he loves to go play with the kids. That's the greatest part of the father and son. So, yeah, that part of it, absolutely. The boxing part of it, championship, winning this.
That's a bonus.
It's a bonus.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Being a dad is everything. So needless to say, your relationship has grown and flourished over these years of working and training together, boxing and training together.
I would definitely say that. Again, it was funny, because you asked about the analyzing thing? You asked about the analyzing. It was funny that day when he said that to me. I'm like, this dude sounds like an analyst right now, But, yeah, absolutely. And, like I said, sometimes I go to my door and Shawn he just came right over with his little boys on their little motorized vehicle. Dude, that makes my day. It don't get no better than that for me. It just doesn't get any better than that. So that, if we had to go through all those thousands of miles of running, all those thousands of rounds of hitting bags, and all those thousands of rounds of sparring, and all of these rounds in the amateurs, and all those tournaments all over the place, just to get to the point that we live right next door to each other, and I can walk out of my house and see him, or he can walk over with his babies, it was worth it.
Yes. What are your thoughts on the Teofimo fight coming up and the Devin Haney fight coming up?
Who's Teo fighting?
Teo's fighting Kambosos.
Wow, they're still
doing that. Yeah, they're still doing that.
Wow, they're still trying to. I thought they gave up on it.
One of the hottest positions in the boxing community. So I think that's what's going to be the difference.
Yeah, and he always talks about, coming up from lightweight, people underestimate how strong he is.
Right.
You think he gets the knockout Saturday night?
I think he does. If he do everything he's supposed to do, he do it the right way, I think he does. If Shawn just beat Shawn, he's probably going to get it.
And Bomac, what'd you think of the sparring with Gervonta Davis? Fast, strong southpaw. Is that
I know,
a good look?
That don't make that. I don't give a fuck about that shit. It ain't gonna make him or it ain't gonna break him. And he definitely ain't no damn Terence Crawford.
It's good preparation for Bud, though. I mean, it's hard to find a Terence Crawford, but
Well, people try to do their best to try to find people to emulate Terence Crawford, but you can't. You can't find a lot of fighters with power in both hands.
Was it hard to find guys that emulate Shawn?
No. Well, yeah, a little bit, but we went through four guys. Went through four guys and shit, and two of them lasted.
Only two of them lasted out of four? What happened to the other two? They had to go home?
We don't move our running on the tail end. Because one couldn't. He just wasn't putting out what we wanted to put out.
How devastating you think
one had a fight.
How devastating you think the counterpunching is going to be for Terence?
Well, we're going to just leave that to be seen. You know what I'm saying? We're going to leave that to be seen because we ain't going to put too much out there. And time to go? 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes.
2 more minutes. We got you, bro, man.
No, we got to get to the gym.
Yeah, yeah.
So you ready?
Let's go.
All right. She said we got to go.
Let's go.
All right. All right, Bomac. Any last message for the fans, though, Bomac? Or wait, can I ask you just real quick about...
One question.
Yes.
Just one question.
All right. I'm going to put it all in one. What do you think of Canelo moving up to cruiserweight for that Macaboo? And who's the toughest opponent? Benavidez? Who should he be fighting?
I think at room 9719 is going to be the party tonight. We're going to have some extra girls over there. You know what I'm saying? I think that's when Canelo might show up. He might not show up. All right. Then that's how we're going to try it.
We gotta go.
Or even in the previous Olympics. So I had to look at film from guys from 2008 all the way up to 12, because some of the guys from 8 was returning again in 12. Alexander Usyk, who we got a decision on, was one of those guys. He was on the 08 team, came back and got a medal. So he got the gold medal. So that was my job. Pound for pound, JoJo was the most technically sound fighter on the team. Right? And he's had all his experiences of national tournaments, going to world championships, and going to the Olympics. So this is what's going on between him and Devin. The ultra talent, and then this guy who's fundamentally extremely sound and been to all of these different tournaments. So I haven't decided who I'm going to go with, who I think is going to win that fight, but it's going to be a great one.
I already told you mine. My shit like yours.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let me say this. And this is from my experiences with both guys. I spent time in the gym with Devin for a couple of years. I spent time with JoJo for a year and traveled to other countries with him, Azerbaijan and these different places that we went, right? The ultra-talented kid in Devin will probably prevail in this fight, but I haven't. Went back to study that to see how much they've changed since I actually worked with them. So if you pressing me to the, I'm saying Devin, but I know what JoJo is bringing to the table. But I want to see what has changed since then, because that's a long time. That's a long time since 2012 to now. Same thing.
Probably the competition too. I don't know about the competition over there, but Devin, I knew he was great as a kid. You remember you came to Toledo and Devin was Big Nate? Yeah, he recognized me, and I wondered who that kid was, and I came here for a Mayweather fight. They said he was the #1 ranked kid in the nation. I knew he was special then. Devin just has to remember he's not a puncher, he's a boxer. He just has to.
I think he's got that part of it.
Yeah,
I think he's got that.
noise.
Yeah,
so
I think he's got that part of it.
As long as he understand that, it should be easy work, in my opinion, on that. But I have one question though about the y'all fight. I believe Bud long arms would be a disadvantage for him. When Shawn get close, because Bud gets wide with his punches. He gets wide with his shots. So Shawn want to force him to open up. That's how Mean Green clipped him and different people when they pressed forward and kept straight.
Not to take anything away from Tevin and Devin. I called him Tevin. I mean, Terrence. I mixed their two names together, right? Not to take anything away from him at all, but the one thing that I see, and it's a little too late to change right now. The one thing that I see is, and logically it makes sense if you think about it. I think his trainer said he won his last 9 fights by knockout.
Right. Yeah. Last seven or something.
7 by knockout.
Something like that.
Tell me if this doesn't make sense to you. So, if you're being successful and you're winning by knockout, there's got to be a point in time where you don't work out as hard as you normally would. Now, his trainer said he does all the time, and even more this time, and I get that part. But I'm wondering if, and I'm watching this, and I'm wondering if you really put that much time into defense, because you're winning, and you're winning all the time, and you're winning by knockout, so why do I need to work on defense? I don't need to. I'm getting everybody out of here. I don't really need to work on defense. Right? So I've seen some people touch him.
Been getting touched.
I've seen some people touch him, and I'm thinking the reason for that is there's no reason for you to really work on defense because you're winning all the time and you're being successful in doing so, right? Now, as far as the long arms being, something that could be a deficit for him, it's also his advantage. He's only 5'8", but he's got arms, like a guy that's 6 feet tall or something right there, right? Yeah. I told Shawn, stay off center. And we've worked on that.
Get up on that.
And then I also said, we don't know. This guy may be like Gumby. Maybe he can, do it like this and get the shots off too. I said, so you're gonna have to be on your P's and Q's and be sharp on defense and respect, be responsible on defense. But that's one thing that stands out for me. Like, why would you even have to work on defense if you're knocking out everybody? And I know boxing to be, and being around a lot of boxers and trainers, they don't spend a lot of time on defense.
Because Shawn's capable of touching.
And that's why he going to be on the back foot more against Shawn. So that's why Shawn got to come forward to make him open up and get back to wide shots, and then we can clip him. So that's where we got to get.
Hey guys.
Okay.
So quick, I'm sorry, I just got 2 quick questions.
I got to
go. I'm going to fire away.
It's going to be fired away, but I got a very good reason to leave here. I got to go work with Tank. I got to go work with Tank Davis.
Good luck to you Saturday night, baby.
I'll walk and talk with you then.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Thanks for your time.
I just want to get you the whole Canelo jumping up to 190. I haven't got any trainer's opinions yet on him wanting to fight.
I don't know why he would do that. Why wouldn't he just continue to fight the top fighters that he hasn't fought already? But if he's doing that, I'm going to say it's a duck.
You think it's a duck from David?
If you moving up there, and you could at least say, okay, I'm going to take one more fight with a Charlo or one more fight with a Benavidez, and then I'll move up. But if you just going to move up without fighting them guys at all, it looks like a duck, it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it's a duck.
My second question is just, I scratched mine, but you said you're going to work with Tank, like you're helping him for his fight? Is that what's going on?
I've been doing some things with him. He sparred with Shawn and stuff like that. So I got
it's a future ongoing thing that you're going to be...
I can't make no prediction on that, but right now, today, yesterday, last week, we've been working and it's been coming out great.
Awesome. Thank you.
And with the review journal, I just want to verify Biggie's name.
But we all know Terence. All it takes for him to get touched one time, and he switches that thing over to like whipping a slug. And I'm waiting for that to happen. I'm excited for that.
Coach, real quick, going back to Canelo, what you saw Canelo at 168 pounds, he's talking about moving up to 200 to cruiserweight. Do you think his power carries? How do you think he'll do
Absolutely.
that?
Absolutely. That's not even a question
No
for me.
hesitation, huh?
And why would I? I mean, at the end of the day, in understanding what power really is about, he already has the force. He's shown that he has the force. He already has the speed. He's going to be faster than the guys at that level, so he's going to continue to take that up. You know, it's a matter of him not getting touched, right? Not getting hit at that size. And Canelo's been very good at being the ring general and controlling that from happening. So I don't see it being any different. I think he's going to go out there and he's going to show the world that he can do it at any level. He's definitely one of the best to ever do it in the sport. He's been in the ring with some of the best to ever do it. And I don't expect it to be any different. I just want him to get back in there with my guy, Caleb. That's all I need.
How do you go about putting on 22 pounds of muscle correctly, you know?
I didn't say it's going to be 22 pounds of muscle.
Okay, yeah.
22 pounds, yeah. I didn't say muscle, right?
What are your thoughts on the Teofimo fight coming up and the Devin Haney fight coming up?
I think that you got a division that has, in the recent years, become very, very, very exciting based on the people that are in it. You know, when you got 4 or 5 guys at one division that all have talent and all have star quality to them and also have that mouthpiece that keeps them coming, we all get excited to watch it. So I'm looking forward to any time Teofimo gets in the ring. I'm excited about any time Devin gets in the ring. Those guys are great fighters, so I look forward to it. So hopefully I get a chance to see it soon.
They're all great talents, but if you know, Larry, if it was like you got to put your chip on just one of them, who would it probably be?
Style makes fights. It just depends on
Right.
who you're placing against each other. Like, right? And that's been said in the history of this sport forever. Styles make fight. You put one guy in there, you get a different thing. You get Rolando Romero. His style is so different than everybody else's. You put him with the right guy or the wrong guy, that guy lays down. So it just really depends on who's in front of him.
Mayorga Vernon Forrest, right?
Exactly.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. Wade.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. No, I really do appreciate it.
Just wanted to finish up on the Canelo real quick.
Yeah.
So if it ain't 22 pounds of all muscle, are you going to lose some speed, though? Like, you know,
Possible, but it's still, no matter how much speed is lost, the percentage won't be high enough to make it equal to the speed of a cruiserweight. What I want to see, and I want everybody to get this, what I want to see is Canelo move up to cruiser and fight Badu Jack. That's who I want to see. Badu Jack. Take him on first. Then fight whoever you think you want to fight. Because we got a 2-division world champion in Badu who moved up on his own. He didn't have to. He just decided, I'm done with this level. I'm going to win a title at the cruiserweight division. Let him see Badu and let's see how that works out.
well, just okay. While I got you a matchmaker,
let's go.
What would you think if David and Caleb fought now to get back to the #1 spot?
It's going to happen at some point. I don't know when that fight's going to happen, but we all know at some point those two are going to clash at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's not a thing of if we wanted to, we know it's going to at some point. So once they line up, David's going to have to show he has the boxing ability to stay in there. We definitely seen that Caleb been in there with the heaviest puncher in the division and how he was able to sustain himself. So I don't expect Caleb to do anything other than what Caleb has done, and that's stepped up to the plate and get the job done. At the end of the day, Caleb proven himself as being one of the best in the division, if not one of the best boxers in the sport. So I don't think it's up to him to prove anything. He's done that already.
Does it make sense, though, to come back with like what they call a tune-up before you get right back into a big fight like that? Or you think he could come right off that?
I think mentally he can step in there and do it anytime he wants to. But I think that the smart way to go about it is like everybody else. The tune-up, take the tune-up fight, 1 or 2 tune-up fights, and then you go and you get into a major fight. But Caleb's mentality, his athleticism, he'll be willing to take on anybody at any given day. He's not going to walk away from that. But, you know, that's not my job to be able to make that decision. I follow the guidance of, but of course, Louis DeCubas and Al Heyman and everyone that's involved in Caleb's decision making, along with Caleb and his family. But at this point, mentally, he's not a guy that's going to walk away from that. I think we take our time. He just came off of a huge fight, huge stage, months of camp. It's about rest and relaxation right now.
Yeah, man, enjoy that. Enjoy that shit with Jordan, man. Go on vacation.
Go spend time with your family.
Thing.
That's what that's all about.
Absolutely. And just with Shawn and Terence both being 34, and how much is either guy got more of their physical prime left to? Has either guy slipped?
Both guys do. And I say it that way because you got to think about these guys are in a space where they don't abuse their bodies.
Right.
They don't drink. They don't smoke. They don't do a lot of wild things, partying. They're both kind of, no disrespect to either person, they're both homebodies. They stay with their families. So when you got guys who take care of themselves in that manner, then their athleticism will last a long time. But when you got guys who are smoking, drinking, partying, it starts to wear them down. I think these guys have taken great care, and I think you're going to see a great fight.
And lastly, Larry, just talking about the mentality of both guys. You see Shawn up there with his beautiful son, right? Terence, meanwhile, mean as hell, surly. Some people would argue that surly attitude is better to bring in the ring. But what are your thoughts on all that?
It depends on the person.
Right.
Listen, I learned something a long time ago when I was an athlete and now that I'm a trainer. And the one thing that I learned was every emotion that you have is relevant. Every emotion. You think about basketball players. Will they play 90 games in a season?
82.
82 games in a season?
Plus playoffs.
LeBron James does not get to be LeBron James, but LeBron James has everyday problems just like we do, right? He has bills like we have. I'm pretty sure him and his wife argue at some point. Him and the kids get into it at some point, whatever that go on. He has problems, but he still has to be a professional. So every day he goes into the court, every day he's not happy. Every day he's not sad. Every day he's not angry. But every day he's going to feel of emotion. He still has to step up to the plate and get it done. That's what true professionalism is. So that emotion is probably the emotion that he uses to feel like that's what he needs to do to get in the ring. Shawn's not that guy. Shawn doesn't have to be that person. Shawn could be very happy and go in the ring and beat you up.
Is that how he was with Spence?
He was very, very calm, and I was the one concerned, like, man, he's calm as hell. And then he went in there and fought the fight of his life, So it's really based on that person. He needs that emotion, and that's great. But here's the problem with that emotion. What if you don't feel that way that day? Now you can't use it. So you have to be able to rely and take in whatever emotion that you have going on at that moment and use that. You got to be LeBron James Monday through Sunday. So whatever you feel that day, doesn't matter. Use that to get you into the game.
Whether it's a good mood or a
Whether
bad
it's good
mood
or bad.
whatever. Go with the flow. Yeah.
He told me to put the money up, man.
Thank you, Coach.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, man. Thank you, Larry.
Great seeing you, man.
See you again.
Hey, sir.
I don't know if I'm...
Sit down.
So, why not fight Crawford, who's considered one of the best fighters in the world, one, pound for pound, and he's number 2 in the welterweight division, and he holds the title. So, why not fight Porter, who's already tested himself against the best guys and took him all the way to the end and loses slightly on the scorecards. Could have went either way. I thought he beat Spence, to be honest with you, but it is, in my opinion. If it wasn't for the knockdown, he probably would have won that fight. Now Crawford, he gets a shot at it. Now we're going to get to see what Crawford, it's a measuring stick, what Crawford can do against Shawn Porter, who makes things difficult for any fighter. Shawn Porter, Grim Reaper, he tests everybody's heart. How bad do you want it? Crawford's finally in the ring with somebody that wants it just as bad as he does. That's why this fight is important for him in his career. That wants it just as bad, if not more than he does. But what I saw up there was a guy, Porter, that was comfortable because he has experience fighting the top guys. He has confidence that he's grown from about himself, that he knows about himself in fighting these guys. That's why he was so chillaxed, had his kid on his lap. And Crawford, reserved, but he seemed a little bit too reserved for my liking. He didn't even want to speak. Okay? And by the way, Well, these guys, you know, and I'm gonna keep it 100. And I love these guys. That ain't how you sell a pay-per-view.
I thought it was a little cordial.
Listen to me. I'm being honest with y'all. I'm being honest with y'all at home. I'm being honest with y'all guys at home. And all the fighters out there listening to. That ain't how, hey, I'm on this side. You getting information from me being on the TV. I'm telling you, I didn't know this stuff when I was fighting. Nobody's sat down and talked to me about this or even aired this out. That ain't the way you sell pay-per-views. You know, people. You got to get people attracted to this fight. You got people wanting to see this fight. I understand the skills, but hey, at the end of the day, you make some noise, people gonna get intrigued and they gonna want to see this fight.
How would you sell the fight?
He's got to go back on.
Huh?
Oh, okay.
How would I sell the fight?
If you were, because they're friends, how would you sell the fight essentially if you were in their shoes in future advice? Would they talk trash? Would they
talk your stuff? Talk your stuff. That's what you do. Talk your stuff.
Thanks, Tim. Thank you.
I think that's it. Cool. All right, well, appreciate you guys checking in, as always. We're going to get a whole bunch of content coming up, and then more than ever. Just stay locked. Always on FightHype. We got a whole week of fun stuff. So tomorrow we got the undercard, and then after that we got the weigh-in, and of course we got the fun fight on Saturday. So you guys asked for it, this is one of the fights that the fans wanted, and it's delivering as we speak. So Crawford, undefeated, WBO, and then you got Shawn Porter. Have 2 titles in this division. Fought everyone and fighting pretty much the last piece of this division, outside of past the Pacquiao era. And we'll get to see where Crawford stands into that elite 147 division. So, all right, guys, appreciate it. Tuning out.
Yeah, no.